Blessings in abundance. It's Brother Polight. I'm too smart to be broke. And so should you guys feel. You guys should also say the mantra that you're too smart to be broke. Every time I get up in the AM, I don't like to say the morning, because morning sounds synonymous with sadness. So I don't talk about the morning. I don't say hello, because the connotation of what hell is supposed to be and hell is low. They play games with us, you feel me? And I realize other communities, their salutations, their engagements amongst each other is so positive that I feel there's a correlation between the way they greet each other, the first and last impressions, and the mobilization and effectiveness of that collective. So for instance, when black people say hi to each other, we might say, what's poppin'? That sounds negative. Something popped. What's cracking? Sounds like, something bad is going on. What up, my nigga? That's the slave master's connotation, because he had his own niggas. He used to ask what's up with his niggas. You know what I'm saying? So I look at other people and they say, shalom, ma salam, assalamu alaikum. You feel what I'm saying? So people say, peace be upon you. Peace, the second they see each other. And they happen to be doing better than black people. You feel me? So when I see you, that's why I made that language into our Susu living language. When we greet each other, I know black people are in desperate need of success. So we say Taidut. Taidut means hi, and it's synonymous with the word success. And when we leave each other, we suggest that you have perpetual success. So we say Iluvu. So Iluvu means bye, and it also means perpetual success. Because this is what we want to give each other when we greet each other and when we separate. We want to invoke that spirit force of success, because we are in desperate need of it in this day and time. And so people always ask, how are you making your money? This is Rolls Royce Diaries right now. I know it looks a little grainy. I don't know why, but it is what it is. This shit might look like a Toyota based on how horrible the video is looking. I don't know. But I can reassure you, it's a $400,000 car I'm driving it. You know what I'm saying? But all jokes aside, people ask, how do I do it? But what I realize is a lot of people don't want to make the information applicable. I done made it so easy that now I say, yo, you pay $2,000, I'll get you access to 1/10 of a million. I like to say 1/10 of a million because why not get 9 more pieces of it? So I always say 1/10 of a million, which is $100,000 minimum. Most people don't even know it's your legal right to get access to $100,000. But what we don't realize is the nuances of credit, because when you go to school, you have food, clothing, and shelter, which is supposed to make you be able to thrive as an adult. But we don't learn about food, clothing, and shelter in school. You don't know how to crochet, you don't know how to sew. If you learn something about food, they might teach you how to make a pizza, but they don't teach you about nutrition. You feel me? And then the pizza that they got you making, they don't give you spelt flour, amaranth flour, quinoa flour, kamut flour. They give you white flour, which is acidic and it produces mucus. And then they have you using milk. And milk is allowed to have over 24,000 live bacteria before the Food and Drug Administration takes it off the shelf. And it's allowed to have 750,000 somatic cells, a euphemism for pus. Okay? So you have, and it's also allowed to be pasteurized, a process in which they use radiation to prolong the shelf life of the product. So you're consuming radiated pus with over 24,000 live bacteria. And that's part of the ingredients to go alongside the white flour that produces mucus and is acidic. And then the tomatoes that you're using are acidic because you're supposed to use cherry tomatoes or plum tomatoes or even brown or black tomatoes. But the tomatoes that we use traditionally produces acid, and it leads to heart problems later on in the future cumulatively. But these are the ingredients for the goddamn pizza. And I don't need to talk about the damn sausage or the pepperoni. We don't need to talk about that. But anyway, point in case is, before I go on a tangent, when we go to school, we should, from pre-K to 12th grade, that's 14 years of going to school, and they don't teach you about food, clothing, and shelter. Shelter as in real estate. You don't learn, for 14 years, you don't learn about mortgage hypothecations. You don't know how to fill out your first homeowner's application. Okay? You don't learn about amelioration and restitution of properties. And people say, yo, Brother Polight, you always trying to talk over people's head. First of all, we don't use the word try in our diet because words are a form of consumption as well. So I've been on a long time fast with using certain words like try. So I'm fasting on the word try, and so should you. Okay, we actualize our reality. We make things manifest, because it's either manifestation or man-infestation. If you're not producing, you're destroying something. Okay, so we got to make the information applicable. So what I'm saying to you all is, every time you think about it, when we go to school, you ain't learn nothing about credit. You ain't learn about credit card redlining. Like, they are not allowed to deny you of lines of credit because of your race, but they are allowed to deny you of lines of credit because of your zip code. But don't races exist in clusters per the zip code? So you see the nuance there, right? You see the game. I can't deny you because of your race, but I can deny you based on your zip code. So they got certain zip codes where that credit, they have a redlining map, and wherever that red line hits, that means to deny people of credit or give them a lower credit rating or opportunity. So they won't deny you based on your race, but they'll deny you based on your zip code, and your zip code happens to be race specific. So these are things that I want you to take into consideration. You also don't realize that they use your bank account, their activity in the bank account, against you. So for instance, when you get, let's say you get a line of credit for $1,000 on your credit card, you get a $1,000 line of credit. You shouldn't spend more than 36.6% that of the amount of money. So that means you shouldn't spend more than $366.66. You shouldn't owe more than that. I tell people stay around 30%, even less. Don't spend more than 30% out of the line of credit that they give you. So I always tell people spend less than $300 on every $1,000. But nonetheless, the actual amount is 36.6%. You shouldn't spend more than $366.66 per $1,000 that you've given or allotted to credit. But here's the thing. That's credit cards, right? But what you don't realize is they do the same thing to your bank account. I'm going to tell you how that's a problem. Because a lot of you may only make, let's say, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month. But by the time you finish paying your bills and miscellaneous, you might only have like $700, $800 left in the account. And then you might take some of that cash out, right? Unbeknown to you, their barometer to discern if whether or not you're credit worthy is reminiscent to that of the same criteria that they use for your credit cards. Meaning they looking at your account activity and saying, yo, he barely keeps the money that he puts in the account, or she barely keeps the money that she puts in her bank account. Now you can say, stop using my bank account against me, which is one of the reasons why you don't get access to over 100 grand. So people tell me, hey, Brother Polight, I got over 750 credit score, so lower the price for me since it's $2,000. But I'll tell you this, you got people with 800 credit scores and still can't get a $100,000 line of credit, still barely getting $20,000, $50,000 in credit cards. Why? Because you have other credit nuances that they don't tell you about. They don't. All you know is about TransUnion, Span, Equifax, and FICO. But you don't realize that there are other credit scores. There's over 30 different credit scores that they don't tell you about. We call it a wealth score quotient. You don't know that there's pharmaceutical scores. You don't know that there's traffic scores. You don't know that there's an atmosphere score. And some of these things are the reason why you're being denied of the right to have at least $1/10,000, $100,000. I'm about to go play some basketball. But what I'll tell you is contact brotherpolight45@gmail.com. Brother Polight 45@gmail.com. Put your full name and your phone number. Pay $2,000, get over 100,000. Some of you would get 200 grand, some of you would get 150. I know this shit sounds like some fish market shit, because when the numbers get higher, you would like to believe you don't deserve it. And what I say is this, a lot of our people are afraid of success. So every time you give them a grand opportunity to do something powerful, they get scared. But they ask for opportunities, and then when the opportunity presents itself, oh, I don't know, oh, I can't take the risk. But you know what? You ain't take a risk when you bought your car. You knew you wasn't gonna make no money back off your car. You ain't take a risk when you bought your Fit Cap. It felt good when you bought something that didn't make you money. Most people only have an income. The second tier of people that make up most of the rest have an income and savings. The last tier of people, which makes up the 5%, have income, savings, and investments. Most of us don't have investments because investments scare us. But making money and spending it doesn't, and getting nothing back in return. And having a savings and then taking from savings tends to not scare people either. You should never have income, savings, and no investments. Investments is what you're going to retire off of. The very retirement plans that they create is because they invest in your money without you knowing via Social Security. And because we're about to have what's called the silver tsunami, the Social Security system is about to collapse. But that's a whole nother conversation for another time. Hit me at brotherpolight45@gmail.com. I just wanted to give you guys some game, build with you, give you something to think about. Like I said, from pre-K to 12th grade is 14 years of going to school. You don't learn nothing about food, clothing, and shelter. So how you going to be a functional adult in society? You can't make your own clothes. You can't cook your own food. And you don't know nothing about real estate. And if we compound interest, you don't know shit about credit. So how could you possibly be an adult? The only thing that's left for you to do is get a job when you get out of school. And then go back to school because you're unfulfilled based on what they gave you. And even when you go back to school, unless you go to the right type of high school, which they don't tell you about, then you're going to have to take remedial courses just to get into the highest learning of school or going to a college. And which is even more crazy because they call it a university, but you don't learn shit about the universe unless you plan to be an ontologist. There's so much shit to this. It's ridiculous. Part of my language, but it's trash. I'm going to tell you it's trash. I'm a 10th grade dropout, self-made millionaire. And it's wild, the amount of things that I've learned from personal experience and just TTP and TTMP. That is to say, talk to people and talk to more people. That's the best knowledge you could ever get in this world. Associate yourself with people doing bigger and better things than you. Don't miss opportunities to be around people that are doing bigger and better things than you. Don't engage in conversation that's not worthy of the bigger and better things you intend to do. And things will work itself out. Trust me when I tell you this. So, brotherpolight45@gmail.com. Leave your full name and your phone number for the Credit Restoration Microwave. For the Credit Restoration Microwave. I thank you all for coming out here. You guys always pop out in the thousands and make it work. And as a community, we have no gossip to talk about because there's no money to be made off of gossip. All I want to talk to you about is progression. I give accountability teachings because we're all adults here. For the most part, we're all parents. We all strive to be contributors of our family, our community, our society at large. And so we have to find or devise a formula for us to thrive. Otherwise, we'll implicate each other. We'll make things complicated amongst each other. Our relationships won't be able to thrive because of the stark circumstances that poverty presents to us on a day-to-day basis. So again, it's brotherpolight45, POLIGHT45@gmail.com. Leave your full name, your phone number, and say, hey, I want to get that 100 bands. If it's going to take you a week or two, you don't have to have us call you so you can tell us, I'll have the money in a week or two. You don't got to do that. You know, rest your conscience. It's okay. If you know you ain't got the bread, don't say I'm ready. If you're ready, call. And the reason why I say that, because so many people send emails deviating from what we're talking about. It's crazy, and then we can't get to the people that actually want to get the service done in real time, because some people want to get that bread in real time. But like I said, it's your legal right to get access to those funds. It's just unfortunate that they don't teach you these things in school. So one of the number one questions people ask me is, Polight, how come you know and everybody else don't know? Because most people went to school and I didn't. And I know that shit sound crazy, but the reason why I know a lot of things that people don't know is because I didn't go to school. That's the answer. I'm not knocking school. You should go to school to be a resource to your community. Like, let's say, be a brain surgeon or some shit. You should go to school for that. Business administration, I hate when I find out people go to school for business administration, because you can minister a business without that. You know, you go to school for 4-6 years and you get a job at Kinko's Print and Paper, I consider you a fucking failure. And you should consider yourself that too. Be hard on yourself and take it to the next level. But I'm never against going to school if it's for a type of skill set that just demands credentials. There's nothing wrong with going to school. But based on the credentials you're looking for, you may not feel it suffice to go to school. So don't waste your time. But again, brotherpolight45@gmail.com. Blessings in abundance. I'm sorry if this video looks grainy, but it is what it is. You know, again, we only talk about getting this money, progressing, health. We don't have no time to talk about nothing else, because the wealth is in our health. And that's why I say wealth is health. I don't say health is wealth. I say wealth is health, because poverty make you sick. Trust me, poverty will make your ass sick. So I can't say health is wealth. That if circumstances were normal, like in the case of other races for the most part, health would be wealth. But when it comes to us, wealth is health, because being impoverished make our people sick. It make them jealous. It make them hate. It make them rob. It make them kill. It make them steal. It make them not be able to have long-lasting relationships. Shit'll make your stomach fucking hurt. It'll give you high blood pressure. Getting letters in the mail that, you know, your rent is back due. You know what I'm saying? Don't let me catch your ass in the street type of energy for money you owe. Like, yeah, not having money will make you sick. So wealth is health in our community. You get that bag, suddenly things start feeling a little better. Money is not the end all. I know all that. We ain't gonna die with it. All you religious people, I get it. Brother, POLIJHT45@gmail.com. Leave your full name, your phone number. Get your $2,000 up and get access to 100,000. You're $2,000 away from getting 1/10 of $1 million. Why not? Blessings in abundance. J Drama, thanks for the GOAT talk.